Title: A simple woman missed her flight to help an old man, unaware he owned the airline. Story: The boarding gates had just begun to close when Mira rushed into Terminal 3, her scarf fluttering behind her, her breathing heavy, hands gripping her worn-out duffel bag. She was seconds away from boarding the most important flight of her life, a flight that would take her to a job interview she had waited years for. But fate had other plans. Just as she passed the security checkpoint, she saw him. An old man, bent low with age, struggling to lift a small suitcase from the baggage carousel. No one stopped. Business travelers hurried past with their headphones in. Families rushed by, children tugging at their arms. Mira hesitated. Her gate was closing in 5 minutes. But she couldn't ignore it. "Sir, let me help you," she said, setting her bag down and gently reaching for the suitcase. The man looked up slowly, eyes faded but kind. "Thank you, my child," he whispered. "It's not the weight, it's these knees. They've given up on me." She smiled and helped him get situated, offering to walk him to his gate, even though it was in the opposite direction from hers. It took longer than she thought. His pace was slow, his breathing labored, but she stayed with him the whole way. By the time she turned around and sprinted toward her own gate, it was too late. The doors had closed. Flight 727 to New York had departed without her. Mira sank onto a bench, her heart pounding, not from the running, but from the realization. That job interview was her last chance. A small NGO had offered her a position in community outreach. She had dreamed of it for years. It meant a real salary, stability, maybe even a future far away from the 2-room apartment she shared with her ailing mother. She had borrowed money just to buy the ticket. And now it was gone. Tears welled in her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Instead, she called her mother and simply said, "Ami, I missed the flight, but I helped someone who needed it." Her mother's soft voice came through, filled with more pride than disappointment. "Then you did the right thing, Mira. And Allah never lets goodness go unnoticed." Mira hung up and sat silently, watching the planes take off without her. 30 minutes later, a young airport staffer approached her, puzzled. "Excuse me, miss, are you Mira Rahman?" She nodded cautiously. "You're being requested at Lounge 7. By, well, someone important." Still dazed, Mira followed the staffer. She was led into an executive lounge she never imagined she'd even see. And there, sitting comfortably in a plush armchair, was the old man she had helped. Only now, he wasn't hunched. He sat tall, composed, his demeanor completely different. He was sipping tea, a newspaper in hand, surrounded by silent assistants. "Mira," he said with a warm smile. "Please, come sit." She looked around, confused. "I don't understand. I didn't lie to you. These knees really do hurt. But I suppose I wasn't entirely honest either," he said, extending his hand. "I'm Idris Khalid, founder and chairman of Skyspan Airlines." Mira blinked. The name hit her like a thunderbolt. Skyspan, the very airline she had just missed a flight with. The very company whose planes filled the sky all around her. "I like to travel in disguise sometimes," he said. "It reminds me of the people I serve. Most don't notice me when I look old and worn down. But you did. You helped me, with no expectation, knowing full well you'd miss your flight. That kind of heart is rare." Mira felt overwhelmed, her mouth dry. I just did what anyone would do." "No," he interrupted gently. "Most wouldn't." In the minutes that followed, Idris asked her about her life. Her mother, her dreams, her purpose. Mira spoke humbly, quietly, never embellishing anything. She wasn't trying to impress anyone, just telling the truth. After a thoughtful pause, Idris said, "There's a flight leaving in an hour. We'll put you on it. First class. And I'll personally call your NGO to explain. But more than that, I want to offer you something better." Mira looked at him, stunned. "You've got the heart of a servant leader. I built this airline from the ground up, and I need people like you. People who remember humanity, even in a rush. There's a role in our corporate social responsibility division. You'd be working on real impact projects, global and local." Mira's hands trembled. "But I'm not qualified. I don't even have a business degree." Idris smiled. "Compassion doesn't need a degree. We'll teach you the rest." That day, Mira boarded a plane, but not just toward a job. She flew toward a destiny built on character, kindness, and courage. The missed flight turned into a divine redirection. In the months that followed, Mira led initiatives for disaster relief, women's education, and refugee rehabilitation. She became a rising star not because she chased power, but because she never turned her back on the powerless. And Idris Khalid, he often said in interviews that the greatest hiring decision he ever made happened not in an office, but in an airport terminal, because he saw her heart before he ever saw her resume. The message was timeless. In a world chasing speed, never forget to stop for those who need you. You may miss a moment, but gain a destiny. Image prompts 4 scenes. Scene 1. The missed flight. Visual. A bustling airport terminal. Mira kneeling beside an elderly man, gently lifting his suitcase. In the background, her flight gate is flashing, final boarding, as passengers hurry through. Scene 2. The lonely wait. Visual. Mira sitting on a bench, clutching her bag, eyes tear-filled, watching a plane take off through the glass window. Her phone in hand, her mother's voice echoing softly, "You did the right thing." Scene 3. The revelation. Visual. A luxurious airport lounge. Idris Khalid, now revealed as dignified and sharp, seated comfortably while Mira stands before him in shock. Assistants stand quietly in the background. Scene 4. A new journey begins. Visual. Mira on a sky-span plane, looking out the window, a soft smile on her face. A flight attendant places a folder in her hand labeled, "CSR Executive Project, approved by Chairman." Hope and purpose in her eyes.